This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their products as well as the rest of my gear in the description below.
Hey guys, Jimmy here and welcome back to iRacing for another video. Today we are back at the Nordschleife for another hot lap challenge, but this time we are in the newly released Dallara IR18 2018 INDYCAR. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of INDYCAR. It's actually quite hard to watch over here in the UK. But the new regs and the new bodywork has really brought my attention back to this series. I think these cars look absolutely stunning. The new bodywork regulations have taken off quite a bit of downforce from this car. I mean, if you look at this compared to last year's version, you see just how much simpler this one looks. I also heard that these cars lost around £1,000 worth of downforce, which is a lot, and ultimately means the car's going to be a lot more tricky to drive, a lot more fun to drive. And of course, to make it even more interesting, the car is powered by a twin-turbo 2.2 litre V6, producing anywhere from 550 horsepower to 750 horsepower depending on what sort of boost you're running. Of course, we're in the road course configuration today, so it should be an interesting drive, but guys, let's go see how fast a 2018 INDYCAR can lap the Nordschleife. Okay then, so here we are then in our 2018 INDYCAR. I've made a couple of adjustments to the setup to help us get round. We are running quite high downforce, but not the highest we can run, as well as a raised ride height so we don't bottom out as much. But anyway, shall we go see what we can do? Tyres will have cooled down a little bit by sitting there, but we should be okay. Up into third gear, only 6 gears in this thing, so quite long gearing until we get to the end. Let's get round then this last little section. Aim for the wall and unleash INDYCAR hell. Here we go then. Down the T1, already with the big lock up, but the car just about slows down, brakes a bit cold after standing there for a little while. Down the hill now, lots of downforce, even on this lower downforce version of the INDYCAR. You see the car bumping a lot as we try and make our way around the first section here. Very stiff setup, even with the higher suspension. This car is not, well, it's made for street circuits, funnily enough, so it should be at home here, but still, the bumps unsettle the car quite a bit there. Now, coming up towards the flue flats, we'll hold it in 5th gear till we go over the top. There you go, 6th gear, completely flat through here. At high speed, the car still has quite a bit of downforce, so we can really push it through those long sweeping corners. Up to our max speed now, nearly 300 kilometers an hour. Over the crest. Look for our braking point, and down to 2nd gear, back on the throttle, aim for the curb on the outside. There you go, very nice. This car has a lot of grip despite having less downforce than last year's model, so you can really throw it a lot of the corners, but again, as with any Formula car around here, the curbs are your biggest enemy. You can actually end up damaging the bodywork if you attack the curbs too hard, so got to keep that in mind as I make my way around the lap. Not making bad time so far. This section up here, very fun in the INDYCAR. You are just about flat, little tiny lift through there just to make sure I got through. Giving the curbs a very wide berth around here, not quite attacking them the same way I would in perhaps a GT3 car. That's just the nature of the beast. A small lift through there, now through miss, hit, miss. I'm getting better at it, I'm getting there. And now down towards the hairpin. Let's have to brake quite early for this. You can see even still going wide, the downforce comes off and the car just loses grip into there. Not the best I could have taken that, but we got through there in one piece, which is sort of the idea. Ball through here, let the torque do the work, and then down to third, down to second. Be very easy across this crest here. The car gets very loose at the rear, and I've spun it there a couple of times on practice runs. Would not recommend. Again, easy flat through here. Take a late apex in 3rd gear for this right-hander. There it is. On the throttle as early as possible. Getting Bidax out of there is so important. If you lose any time coming out of that right-hander, you carry it all the way up this straight. Again, hold 5th gear as long as we can, and then go to 6th gear. 6th is geared, so we are in a decent RPM bracket going up here. Hitting about 285 k's then, and we can just about take this left-hander flat. Although it's scary, you have to really cut into the curb on the inside and risk touching it. Again, flat through here as well, but very bumpy. And then hard on the anchors, down to second. Bring it in, please. No understeer, don't want that, but we can carry speed. Now, we can take the carousel in this car. I have tried it, so I'm going to attempt to do it here. It's got to be really slow and steady on the way in. You see there, I really just chucked it in. The car didn't like it too much. I tried going around the outside, haven't quite got the downforce at this speed to go faster, so the carousel is quicker, although I don't want to imagine what the underbody looks like now. This section through here is very scary in this car. Car gets so light over this rise here, you see a bit of a slip. And the thing is, in this car, once you start sliding, there's not really much of a return. I've got to be very careful over these crests. I want to attack this, but this is about as fast as I can go through here. And the car is completely on the edge. It can go at any time through this section. All these little crests, all these little bumps upset the downforce. So we have to be nice and careful, just touching the curb inside. That was lucky to get away with that. Down the second gear for YouTube corner, then bringing out to the exit. Nice. Stretch the legs for a second before the late apex. That's a very late apex, Jimmy, but okay. A late non-apex. Again, we can keep it flat over here. Downforce pins us to the ground over the what would usually be a jump. Keep it in gear, but be confident through here. Oh, big moment! Very lucky to keep that alive. And again, over the jump there, just shows you how on edge this car is around here. Great fun though, coming up towards the end of the lap. Down the fifth gear, sweeping in and heavy on the brakes, down the third, again another sweeper. And again, we can take the second carousel, and this car has got to be careful on the entry. Hope it doesn't spit us out. No, it doesn't. And now for the last, well, I say this is quite a challenging corner, because again, any time lost in this corner is lost on the straight. You see how much the car was moving around, going around there. That's exciting. Now we're sort of limited by downforce on top speed here. We get to about 295 k's or so. We also start bottoming out. It was a lot worse before my setup. I was doing about 280 k's. Very interested to see what the lap time is going to be around here. You'll see it just to the right of the gear indicator when it flashes up. I imagine it's probably going to be a bit slower than the F1 cars, probably faster than the LMP, but we will see. Will it go sub 6, I wonder? Let's find out. End of the course now, very bumpy through here, so I'm going to just brake a tad earlier. First gear, last corner, I'm always run that wide. Accelerate, and it's a 5:35. Not bad at all, well into the fives. Will it do sub 6? Will it? Hell, 25 seconds underneath it. And I think, again, in someone more capable will probably get this quite close to the times that the F1 cars did around here. The main thing that was holding me back was just how bumpy this circuit is. You really feel it in iRacing. Of course, a laser scanned version of this circuit, as in a Assetto Corsa, but it seems to be a lot more pronounced in this version. I'm having to really tune the car for the circuit and not just throw it at the circuit and any old setup. But guys, if you enjoyed watching that, make sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe to be notified of future videos. What cars do you guys want to see me taking around on the Nordschleife? Let me know in the comments below. Take care, have an awesome day. See you all next time.